Mike Gallagher talks about the UFOs over our military bases and a lot more. It's time for another UFO News Roundup, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, from Matt Laszlo at Askapol, caught up to Mike Gallagher, Representative Mike Gallagher, former member, House Intelligence Committee, Chair, Select China Committee. And yeah, he just left Congress. Which is too bad because he was actually asking some good questions. But yeah, Askapol asks, recently a slew of U.S. senators, including Senators Tim Kaine, Mark Kelly, and Kirsten Gillibrand, have publicly voiced concerns with top Pentagon officials over repeated incursions by unknown craft over sensitive military bases and nuclear sites. Should Americans be worried? Well, Mike Gallagher says, I still don't think we have a good explanation for what's fouling our ranges. I haven't heard one, and that's just a matter of safety for our pilots. And furthermore, I don't think we have a well enough established process for just cataloging the incidents, like analyzing all the data and storing it in the right way. I just feel like Arrow has a long way to go in that respect as well. Well, Arrow has a long way to go, to be sure, a very long way to go. Maybe so far as to become a different organization entirely. But I think I have a solution, guys. I have a solution. If it's drones that are targeting our military bases, all you need are some birds. Look at this. Look at this. A bird can take care of a drone. Those aren't drones, guys. Those aren't drones, at least not any human drones. We need some answers. Meanwhile, this is a story sent to me by Jumbles. Thank you, Jumbles. I really appreciate this. Spiral UFO sightings spark shock across the U.S. and Europe. Someone explain, please. And this is from the New York Post. Check this out, guys. There's weird spiral UFO sightings being reported. Yeah, I mean, is that a spiral? It looks more orby to me. Kind of an orb with maybe a... I'm trying to see the spiral. I mean, I guess there's like a field around it that I guess you could think of as, spirally. And maybe the whole shape of it, kind of an elliptical shape is a little spirally. I don't know. I'm not seeing the spiral here, but let me know if you're seeing it. Here's another one. I'm still trying to see the spiral. Again, it just looks more like your regular, typical UFO, more orby. But maybe that's just because the resolution is bad. Maybe if you're looking at it, if you're eyeballing it, maybe it looks more like a spiral. But definitely an anomalous object that just winks out of existence. So, cool sighting. But yeah, the article says, people from the southwestern U.S. to Scandinavia and the far reaches of Eastern Europe posted footage of an unidentified flying object they saw mysteriously coasting overhead in a spiral pattern. Okay, so it was moving in a spiral pattern, okay? Completely clear skies, and I see a super blurry white light, no flashes like a plane, coming straight at me horizontally. It then goes straight up and freaking disappears. One user frantically posted to X along with a video of the object. Someone please explain. Another account aggregated video of the UFO flying over palm trees in Southern California. A Cayuga Park resident in LA posted footage too. Another man in Arizona caught the anomaly on camera at around 9 p.m. local time. He offered another vivid description. Was an orange light surrounded by fog in an otherwise completely clear night. Went up and eventually disappeared. Video doesn't do it justice. So very interesting. People are seeing these orbs, I guess, as what you would call them, moving in spiral shapes and then sometimes vanishing. Interesting new phenomenon within the phenomenon. Meanwhile, from MSN, alien hunters should be worried about USOs, not UFOs. Okay, very interesting. I'll bite. Alien enthusiasts. I just love that euphemism. Alien enthusiast. We're enthusiastic about aliens. I guess I'm enthusiastic about aliens. Okay, I guess that's not untrue. Alien enthusiast, it's time to shift your gaze from the skies to the seas. Have you ever heard of unidentified submerged objects? USOs. These mysterious entities are said to lurk in our oceans, and if you haven't been clued up on them until now, it's high time to start taking note. So yeah, it goes on, but I think this is really cool that there's more and more people getting aboard the USO train. Richard Dolan has his book on USOs coming up soon. I can't wait to dive into that. Sorry. Okay, but yeah, I mean, so many UFOs or USOs, or they're both, because they're transmedium. They'll come and go from the seas and even lakes. So what is the connection between UFOs and water? Are they living in the seas, like in the James Cameron movie The Abyss? Or are they living under the seas in giant underground cities, as we've heard reports about? So is that what we're talking about? Is it one of is it both? Or, what's going on there? Maybe Richard Dolan will give us some clarity on that in his upcoming book. But I love that more people are focusing on what's under the waves. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthart comments on the LaGuardia Airport UFO.
Your reaction to Michelle Reyes's video and the lack of sort of response that she got to reporting it?
Good evening, Ashley. Yes, it's a very compelling video. I remember seeing that when it was first posted, and I agree, it does look anomalous. One of the things that the debunkers often say is that these objects are moving so fast that they're often aeroplane fuselages and we just can't see the wings, but it doesn't appear to be that in this case. She did the right thing, though, Michelle, by reporting it to the National UFO Reporting Centre, NUFORC, which is one of the two main organisations that take these sightings. The other one, of course, is MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. But one of the problems is there's really no one central government administered or independently administered body that takes all of these sightings. And one of the exciting things that's happening is the development of new smartphone apps. And they're coming in now. And what would have been wonderful in Michelle's case is if she'd had the opportunity to get an independent witness that could corroborate the sighting that she saw, hopefully from another angle. That way you can triangulate them and then do all sorts of calculations to estimate speed and altitude and things like that. And so that's why these new smartphone apps like Phenom, Phenom, and the Enigma Labs app are very important.
Okay, now I love the idea of the apps and people being able to report this to non-standard reporting centers. There are some ideas out there that places like MUFON may have been compromised by the control group, but these apps hopefully have not. However, there's the downside of that, because the more you separate the reports and the people are reporting it to different places, you're not going to be able to have this comprehensive view of the phenomenon. People are reporting different things to different places. So, it's frustrating, right? But it is the way it is. And if it was centralized, as, NUFORC and MUFON, there are rumors that those organizations may have been compromised in some way. Obviously unconfirmed, and I'm not smearing any of those organizations' reputation. I think they're both doing good work, but I do have to worry that there may be some involvement by the government, and we know that MUFON has had some involvement. Whether they've been co-opted or any way is unclear. But there are concerns there, right? But with these apps, you don't have that baggage, and that compromised situation, but you also get this diffusion of UFO reports going to different places, so you don't get this comprehensive view. So it's it's not a perfect situation. Let me know what you guys think would be a better way to do this, because I love the idea of reporting these sightings and collating information on this stuff and getting an overall picture of the phenomenon. But I don't know how to do that without the control group stepping in and taking over. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthart asked Brandon Fugal about Imminent Domain and his objections to Imminent Domain. He starts talking about how Travis Taylor is against it.
He kind of got slapped down about it, but the lawyer in me kind of agrees with him, to be perfectly honest. I found it worrying that the state that the state felt that it had the right to confiscate any technology that might have been recovered. And I guess this would include Skinwalker Ranch as well, because
Sure. Well,
presumably
any evidence. Yeah, any that would include any evidence or data. And I don't think people understand the consequences of giving that much power and overreach to government authorities, to just immediately sweep in. I believe that our best chance of seeing real disclosure and advancement relative to these frontier topics is going to come from the private sector, because
Yeah, okay, so they go on talking about it, and I definitely tend to agree with that. We're certainly not going to get it from the government the way things are now. However, things are changing. We do have members of Congress actively engaged in this topic now and trying to, pass legislation. Again, the eminent domain thing has been a problem there, but things do seem to be changing. However, historically, Brandon is absolutely right. The government is not interested in disclosure in any shape or form. Even the current efforts, talking about working on the JFK model of disclosure, the 25-year plan and all of that sort of thing, doesn't seem super transparent, even with the changes going on now. But there are some strong advocates for transparency in Congress, so I kind of hope that will change. But just looking at the landscape the way it is now, and it has always been, it certainly seems like the government is not interested in any way in disclosure. In fact, they actively fight it. So, of course, eminent domain would be a bad thing. They would just seize this technology and hide it away like they always have, or do whatever they're doing with it like they always have. They're not giving it to us. They're doing something with it. What is the control group doing with it? I think that is a key question. However, there are private companies, quote unquote private companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and others that have this technology. They're also not doing anything with it either. Of course, they're super embedded with the government, even though there does seem to be some friction between the public parts of the control group and the private parts of the control group, which I find super fascinating. What's the story there? I mean, we had the Lockheed Martin, firefight, for example. But that's just one example. There's other examples that seem to indicate friction, including this idea of eminent domain. That they want eminent domain so badly seems to me to indicate that they might want to take it from places like Lockheed Martin. If they have been holding out on them, which is what the Lockheed Martin firefight story is really all about, which is really intriguing. However, there's another wrinkle. There is another wrinkle. Because what if the pro-disclosure elements of the control group can't show what they have? But if they could get what Lockheed Martin has, they could show it, right? I think that's a possibility. Why they want eminent domain so badly as part of the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. Because I do believe it was pro-disclosure people that penned the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. So why did they put that in there? They didn't want the government just to hide it away, probably, hopefully, right? So maybe, theoretically, what if they wanted to seize what these private companies had, because they could show that, because it wasn't under their purview or whatever to hide. I don't know, just throwing stuff out there, guys, throwing stuff out there. Let me know what you think. Anyway, the debate over eminent domain goes on. Oh, but I did have to add one last thing. Absolutely 100% Brandon Fugal and the guys at Skinwalker Ranch would be more likely to provide disclosure if they found something 1,000% than any known actor in the government so far. Speaking of the control group and private companies, just a reminder that the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick was a senior research scientist at SAIC, while Bobby Ray Inman was on the board, a position he, for some reason, does not report on his LinkedIn. He was also recruited by the Department of Energy at 17 years old. Brookhaven equals Battelle. The more you know. And now he's at Oak Ridge Labs, also associated with reverse engineering UFOs. Bobby Ray Inman, of course, is a very interesting figure, the chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, and someone who admitted in a phone call with a NASA scientist He didn't know he was being recorded, but he admitted to the UFO crash retrieval in reverse engineering program. And he was working with the lovely Dr. Shankar Patrick, who again was a senior research scientist at SAIC, while Bobby Ray Inman was on the board. Meanwhile, there's a new scientific article about a bizarre state of meditation. Check this out. Our new paper is about the most scientifically bewildering state in meditation. If we figure this one out, it's a goldmine for consciousness research, possibly revealing about human hibernation or useful space travel. Useful for space travel. Who knows? Here's the wild story. And here we go. Progress in brain research. Abstract. Absence of consciousnness can occur due to a concussion, anesthesia, intoxication, epileptic seizure, or other fainting psychope episode caused by lack of blood flow to the brain. However, some meditation practitioners also report that it is possible to undergo a total absence of consciousness during meditation, lasting up to 7 days, and that these cessations can be consistently induced. One form of extended cessation is thought to be different from sleep because practitioners are said to be completely impervious to external stimulation. That is, they cannot be woken up from the cessation state as one might be from a dream. So that's a crazy state of meditation, guys. You can't be woken up. You can be in this state of basically like no consciousness for up to a week. That's crazy, guys. That is a crazy level of meditation. I mean, I don't know if they're doing something really right or doing something really wrong, but that's still amazing. And it is apparently being scientifically studied and investigated. And it can be induced upon command by these masters of this meditation. So very interesting stuff. I think consciousness studies is going to make huge leaps in the next few years. I think we're already starting to see that. We were able to hook electrodes up to Chris Bledsoe's head and see what he's doing when he's interacting with the beings. The communication that is occurring there. They can actually measure that and what parts of the brain are doing what and what levels of meditation or pseudo meditation he is reaching during that time. So really interesting stuff. Can't wait to see where it goes from here and what applications there might be for all this. Last but not least, check out this beautiful bull. Look at this. That is a handsome fella. That's called a crackridge cattle. I'm saying it wrong, but man, that is the most handsome cattle I have ever seen. Wow, look at that. Look at that guy. Look at the horns on that sucker. Man, wow, what a majestic animal. Okay, well, let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars. And I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.